Tới. Wow, chị wow. It's my voice. It's always gonna tell me it's slow. Da. That's the first time they gave me that correctly. Gotta love it. Yeah, it didn't crack my phone, did it? Okay, cool. Interesting how that works. Oh, let me also do. Oh, I forget. So is some connection on FB. Let me see if I have to. Sometimes I forget pay. That could be help me. It'll actually put me through that and not show me nothing. Might have went somewhere else on his own. Hold on. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, it. Okay. Okay. Yes, it. Okay. Grand abundance, grand abundance. Welcome in, welcome in. The other I'll be just starting in just a few. The topic is God don't tell you everything. That's all. Yada, sit. Let everybody come in. We'll wait. Let people come in. Yatida, yatidi. Yatida. Yep. Facebook is like a ghost town. Grand abundance, welcome in, welcome in. Hey, little sis. Whoo, I was reading that at the same time as speaking. Bonsoir, bonsoir. Got a weird message tonight that I'm going to deliver. It's a cigar kind of beer kind of day. The name of the message is God don't tell you everything. Nope. And this is just based upon a walk of faith. And sometimes, now I will say this, it has a slow connection. So if I see your comment late, please don't hold it against me. But God don't tell you everything. Listen, Linda, you be wanting to call stuff out. It's T. John's year. It's T. John's year and everything, and it's Papa's day. So, well. Listen, God don't tell you everything. And let me say this. Have y'all seen that post I put on my page? The one where the guy, if you've seen it, where the guy literally, God tells him he gives the reality. He gives the reality versus, how people react in their fantasies. Be low. So I was looking at that because I literally, and if one of y'all don't mind, let Iman know that I'm live. I forgot to tell her please forgive me. But when she said she wasn't feeling well, it just dawned on me because I had been praying about that earlier. To the Loa, to the Most High. Grand abundance, welcome in. But God don't tell you everything. And like that post, a young man, he said on that post, the guy came in and said, rich afternoon, rich evening. Like I said, it's a very kind of cigar kind of day, if you will. So literally on that post, the guy says, he has it where God is speaking and he has the fantasy of it all where God tells you, oh, you're going to get 10,000, you're gonna be a millionaire, quit your job. So like, old boy was like, yes, God. Then he gave the reality where God come and say, quit your job. He didn't say nothing else. He just left right after he said, quit your job. He didn't say nothing else. He was like, hello, God? He said, yes, Lord. Then he said, God, wait a minute. Hey. Because God had left him. And, he said, quit your job. He didn't tell him nothing else. And I was sitting here. I was like, okay, Mr. Ancient of Days, what you want me to talk about? Because you having me go live. He said, just go live. You'll see it. Y'all, I ain't seen it all day. I ain't seen it all day. I just seen it a few minutes ago. But I can relate to it. I laughed, but I can relate to it. The Grand Abundance, welcome in. Hey, bro. Welcome in, Society in the house. Hey, Grand Abundance, welcome in. And so, like I said, God don't tell you everything. Good evening. Now, I will tell you this. I'm going to do a bit of story time. Just a little bit. When God told me to go full-time spiritual, he failed to mention the ups and downs of going full-time spiritual. Full-time spiritual requires you to have your faith. It requires you to trust. Listen, when I say story time, it requires you to trust. Now, here's the thing that gets you when you have to heal your relationship with God. Meaning you gotta surrender. You have to re-heal. And let me explain. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot, but God don't tell you everything. Now, y'all, he didn't tell me the ups and downs. He didn't tell me, even for those that have small businesses, and you have a seed, which is your business just getting started. Then that's why I was saying somebody tell Iman for me, because literally I went live and I forgot to tell her. Yeah, text her for me. Until I usually text her and let her know. But literally, I listened. I was excited full time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, you ain't got to go to work no more. Here's what that also means. You're going to have to depend. You're going to have to remember that God turns the heart of man towards you. It's not like going to a job and you're getting the paycheck. Not to say that people don't have to depend, because you don't know if tomorrow if you're going to be working there or not. You know what I'm saying? Anything could happen, so you have to have faith. You have to depend in order to keep your job. But imagine going full turkey, spiritual, just fully going, and literally, you don't get a chance to say no, see no, wait, let me work a little more, let me save my money up, let me get this, let me get that, let me do this, let me do that. All the shoulda, coulda, wouldas fly out the window when he's talking about now. You know what I'm saying? And y'all forgive me, it's a cigar and a beer kind of night. So, when he first said it, not gonna lie to you, y'all, I was excited. That meant I ain't have to go to work. That meant I ain't have to get up no more. You know what I'm saying? I was excited. You know what I'm saying? I was, yay! I ain't got to go to work no more. I ain't got to get up. Not realizing you got to promote your business. This business and marketing, business and advertisement. You got to promote your business. Now you got to find your target audience. Now you got to find out what's going to sell. Now you got to sit back and you got to follow in the spirit. That means you have to trust. That means you have to depend. That means you have to now follow the instructions, especially if you have a spiritual business. We're in abundance. Especially if you have a spiritual business. You find out you're not the CEO, you're not the boss. You find out that you're not even running your life. Okay? You find out that you thought you was the boss. You're the employee. And abundance is, you're the employee. Yes, it says your name, but God run the show. The Lord run the show. You don't run it. You're the employee. You work for them. This is how you pay your bills. This is how you do everything you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? This is you doing what they tell you to do. This is where your faith really has to kick in. Because whatever they say is what's going to happen. Whatever they do and they want done, that's what's going to happen. You don't get to spontaneously try this out, try that out. Why? Because lives depend on it. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to be obedient. Just like when you go on a regular job, you get trained. You get told how to do your job. Now, them ingredients that they showed you years ago, yeah. You found out years ago them ingredients that they gave you for candles, for oils, them classes that you took, using my whole life that you took with your twin. Now you got to follow instructions. Now, you got to make sure you remember the recipes, especially when they bring up that, remember that thing I taught you, that Spirit of Truth candle? You got to make that. Remember that one candle I taught you how to make? I taught you how to make 12 of them. You know, they're all different ingredients. Do you? And then they started singing Michael Jackson, do you remember? And you over there like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Jesus. Well, what they say, bruh. Because you got to remember now. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember all that you learned. And I'm saying it for a reason. Even if it's not a spiritual business, you have a small business that looks like a seed now that's going to grow into a bigger business because of your vision and what they have set out for you. Yeah, now you got to remember Grand Abundance to whoever came in just then. Grand Abundance, welcome in. But literally, now you got to learn. And forgive me, I have a slow connection. So if I don't see you right off, it's because slow connection. But literally, Grand Abundance to whoever else just came in. If I don't see you, it's because I have a slow connection. But Grand Abundance, I can see when the numbers go up. So forgive me if I don't call your name. We're going to charge it to technology. But literally, you find out, oh, okay, what's up, brother? Hey. So Grand Abundance. So literally, you know, like I said, God don't tell you everything. God don't tell you that you're going to lose people along the way. That you are the new story of Gideon. You're going to lose people. Some people is going to walk out of your journey. Some people is going to make their exit. And they make their exit in different ways. They don't make their exit in the same way, but in different ways. Some people just kind of bow out your life, get escorted out. Some people have different visions, have different journeys. Some people, yes, they are haters. Some people, they make them leave. They make them show you what they working with, and then they make them leave. You know what I'm saying? But they exit. You know. When I say God don't tell you everything, honey, let me just say it like this. If you knew all that you would go through, all that would happen, I don't think anybody, and let's be honest, and somebody tag Nicole, because I forgot to tag her. Please tag her. If you knew what all you had to go through, I think some of us wouldn't have did it. If he would have honestly told you, people leaving your life, whatever your spiritual team is, whether it be Loa, whether it be Orisha, whether it be angelic, however, okay? Just know, with me, it don't matter your path. It don't matter what you believe. I'm honored. But you will literally find out that in your journey, they're gonna leave. Okay? They're gonna leave. And if you knew how many people, Grand Abundance, welcome in. You knew how many people had to leave your life. Life of myself. I've seen like my life has been a revolving door. And don't get me wrong, I've had friendships that lasted over 14 years, 20 years, that's lasted over 10 years, 7 years, 8 years. You know, I got those kind of friendships too. People that honestly know me, don't get me wrong. Those are there for the, you know what I'm saying, the long haul. But you're going to have some people that leave. You're going to feel like Gideon, you know what I'm saying, that people leave your life. You know what I'm saying? People make their exit. Some people make their exit and they got to come back again. Some people leave your life and you will never see them again. And I'm saying all of this to say this. God don't tell you everything, because if he told you the amount of hell you were going to go through, ask yourself this question. Would it have been worth it to you if you knew how many people that would leave your life, no matter in the way that they left? If you knew what all you had to let go of in you, would you really have stayed? Let's be real. Because the things that we're predestined to do, God gives us the NDA with no details, but the importance to trust it'll work. It'll work out. Exactly. Because, like I said, if he told us, woo, what that little laugh they be doing on the videos, they go no, we wouldn't have stayed the path. Some of us would be dead and gone. See, I can say that on Facebook, on TikTok, you have to say unalive. But you would literally be dead and gone. Some of us wouldn't have aborted certain things and followed certain directions, or what we call intuitive or instinct, first mind, or what have you. We we wouldn't have done it. Okay, we wouldn't have done it. But give yourself credit, because even though grand abundance, Nicole, welcome in, sis, you wouldn't have done it. If you knew the details, I promise you wouldn't have done it. If you would have known that sometimes your life would feel like a revolving door. And I'm going to tell you something, because when you embrace what God wants with your life, it feels that way. And Abundance Unlimited, it feels that way. I could use my own life as an example, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Give you a recent story when I said I had to heal my relationship with God. Meaning, I don't care what level you're on, there's always something that you're going to have to heal. There's always something you're going to have to do shadow work for. There's always something that you're going to have to do inner work for. And you have to know that you're not by yourself. You're not alone. But it's the next level. Yes, when you finally accept it, when you finally just bow down and say, and yes, I said it just like that, when you finally bow down, you know, instead of thinking you can whoop him, instead of thinking you fighting him, and then you find out you're the only one knocking yourself out in the ring. You on the outside of the ring with popcorn to my bruh, you don't knock yourself out trying to whoop God and in the wheel and in the way. And let me say this to people that like to watch my live and then come in my inbox later. Excuse me, ma'am, sir. Don't tell me nothing about the Loa, nothing about the Orishas or any other paths. Let me hit you with this. If you know all the angels' names, gladly give them to me, because I could have sworn he had beings with different rankings, like cherubim, cherubims. Then he has archangels. Then he has angels. So until you know all their names, please don't bring yourself working on my cussing, y'all. I'm working on it. You miss some credit. I'm working on it. Don't bring your little self in my inbox and tell me that's not of God. To save yourself and me saying something out the way to you, because I'm still an a-hole, and I'm gonna tell you to put the professional on that. Okay, so don't come in my inbox with that. Okay, leave me alone, cause yeah, I ain't in the mood. Because at the end of the day, if you knew everything and you got it together, 2 questions I gotta ask: why you on this earth? The second one is, when you told God your plans, how long did it take him to stop laughing? When you told one of his angels, when you told the Loah, when you told the Orishas, when you told your ancestors, when you told your spiritual team as a whole, how long did it take them to start laughing at you? Because if you knew everything, I promise you, things would have went a little different, okay? I'm just being honest, all right? It would have went a little different. Because, listen, you ever sat down and told God your plan? See, I had mine all mapped out, okay? Listen, I had my life normal, what I deemed and thought was normal, okay? I had me a little spot, little piece of earth to myself, minding my own business. Nobody bothered me. I didn't bother them. You know what I mean? Do you know I didn't get that? I didn't get that. This is what I got. I got told, you got to help people. Your career is in spirituality. Those times where I thought I had a jailhouse ministry, y'all don't hear me. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Because, honey, some people made me want to take my time and get my sentence, because I was going to make sure that I paid for the crime, okay? I was going to take some folks out of here. And that didn't work out. Because God don't tell you everything. But yes, when you finally let go and let God, and you finally trust, and you finally believe, and you finally surrender, and you finally understand that it's not my will, but your will be done. You listen. What y'all thought that Jesus just stopped by the Garden of Gethsemane to be cute? He wasn't the only one. I found myself in a spiritual Gethsemane. So I was like, sir, ma'am, sir. You know what I'm saying? I laughed. And I'm not going to lie. I didn't, quite see this life of helping people. I didn't listen. My plans was different from his plans. But see, when his plan come into play, like I said, and you surrender, his plan come into play, even on his road, or should I say, on that road of Damascus, which was Apostle Paul's road that he was on, the road to Damascus. Now, that is y'all forgive my notifications, the little thing trying to tell me to play a game. But imagine you thinking you know thinking you know what you want out of life, thinking that you got your stuff together. We don't imagine making an impact on somebody's life. We don't imagine embracing change, and that we will go through changes like a metamorphosis, like a butterfly. We didn't see ourselves in a cocoon. We didn't see ourselves going through growth patterns and breaking generational curses. We didn't see ourselves growing out of our old ways, our quick-temperedness. A lot of times we say we don't have patience when in fact we do. When in fact we do have patience. because you learned within God, within that situation. And let me say this, because sometimes God will put you in a situation just to get you to understand that you don't have the control, that He actually have it. You get put in those situations. You know what I'm saying? You get put there. As you go on in life, there will be some things that will seem like it's spiraled out of control. But you will find out very quickly that you are in a position where you have to trust. You're in a position where you have to listen. You have to obey. You have to follow. You have to submit. A lot of people don't like the word submit. But I'm going to tell you something. You'll submit to God, I promise you. You'll understand what, not my will, but your will be done. You'll understand that Mr. Ancient of Days got more than one way of teaching. He got more than one way of teaching. Because you'll get put in situations to where you don't have a choice. And let me just ask this question. Have you ever just sat back and looked at your life? Yeah, there's power in submission. Because I'm going to tell you this, even the Bible says, if a man doesn't have rule over his own spirit, how can you rule anything else? Meaning then, how can you rule your house? But see, to have rule over, it really means to submit to the Spirit of God. Because that's the one that really has say-so over your spirit. And I'm going to break that down just a little bit further. In order for you to submit, you really have to submit to God. In order for you to allow, you first have to allow yourself to be in God's hand and trust God with you. See, a lot of us are scared to trust God with us. I had to learn this, and I'm in the middle of healing my relationship. Well, we will trust God for just an example. Just an example. We will trust God for $2, but we won't trust God for 1,000. Some of us will trust God for 1,000, but won't trust Him for 10. Some of us will trust Him for 10, but won't trust Him for 100,000. Some of us will trust Him for the neighborhood we live in, but won't trust Him for where He's trying to take us. Some of us won't trust Him with our problems and our circumstance, or trust Him with us, and to lead that life and to guide you and to direct you, because it's not just about material things, but those are examples. Because a lot of times we forget that He has to grow your faith. Faith always starts out like a mustard seed. He has to grow your faith. What, you think that the faith is going to stay at the same level? That's why you get put in situations that you cannot control, that you cannot fix, work out, do it your way. So as long as you are trying to solve it, have you ever noticed in certain situations that have come up in life, I mean, really think back, where the more you tried to solve it, it just got worse? And when you finally said, I give up, I give in, that's it, and you say, I'm done, I can't do it no more, I give up, there's always that voice that say, good, I've been waiting on you to stop trying to fight it and let me solve it. See, the fighting a good fight of faith is literally not getting distracted and believing above all that it's going to work out, and knowing that it's going to work out, because faith will start out in believing, then it'll go to hope, then it'll go to knowing. There's a difference in all three of the levels. And then it'll go to speaking and so forth and so forth. Because if you ever really look at a mustard seed, it is very, very small, but it grows into one of the biggest trees in the world. The actual seed grows into one of the biggest trees when it is planted. If I'm not mistaken, in Africa or Japan or China, West Indies, I believe, or I believe some parts here in America, you will find this big old tree that grows higher than most trees. But literally, you have to think about the levels. Because, again, God don't tell you everything. He don't even tell you all of your prosperity. Let's really talk. He don't even tell you everything that he has planned for you. He didn't even tell you who he was. See, even Jesus didn't say who he was. He just told you where he came from. He didn't say he was on any particular path. He just said, I came to do the will of my Father, the one that made me. I do as my Father do. I came to fulfill the prophecy. He didn't even tell you. God himself said, my thoughts and my ways, my understanding is higher than yours. Didn't tell you. Y'all forgive me, I'm getting answers while I speak because, like I said, I was healing. A lot of this is coming from shadow work. I'll admit that. I also admit that this cigar went out. But literally, we have to learn to trust. And whenever something goes wrong, let's all try to look back and remember how far we got here, how we got here. And if I don't encourage or say nothing else, let me tell you this. When you think you're doing it all yourself, please know that you're not. In your time of weakness, his strength is made perfect. You're doing all things through Christ Jesus that strengthens you. Through the anointing and through Jesus, the Son, that dwells on the inside of you. The Father, the Source, God, that dwells on the inside of you. Power of the Holy Spirit. With your spiritual team, your ancestors, whatever your path is. Loa, whatever your path is. That consists of. With the aid of the Most High bidding them the speed to do whatever they do. Because let's be honest, you're not doing nothing on your own. I promise you're not. If you are, I commend you for thinking that. But I'm here to destroy that as well. Because if you can't explain the breath in your body, you can't explain how come you get oxygen, but you breathe out carbon dioxide. And the trees take in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen for you. Until you can scientifically explain that and you can break it down and tell me how it is performed to the point to where God will bear you witness, then so be it. Explain it. But until then, please remember that it is him that you move and have your being. So I'm telling you, you're not doing it by yourself. You're not doing it by yourself. Some of the miracles that have taken place in your life, some of us been through traumatic healings. When I say traumatic, meaning that it would have blown somebody's mind. It would have took somebody out of here. to know that magnitude of a miracle that's been performed in your life. So, like I said, if I don't encourage you to do nothing else, I would encourage you to trust Him. Mr. Ancient of Days, Mr. Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I would encourage you to trust that everything's going to be all right, because grand abundance, no, you're not going to tell you everything. Because if He told you everything, would you really stay with it? Would you really do it? Would you really follow through? Grand abundance, good evening, good evening. The topic for this evening is God don't tell you everything. He don't. If He did, how many would really stay with Him? How many would really do this? If He told you play by play, if He told you every detail, every way, would you still do it? If He told you how many mistakes you was going to make, how many times you was going to fumble, what opportunities you was going to miss, would you still do it? But then again, it wouldn't be no need for trust, huh? Wouldn't be no need for faith, right? Wouldn't be no need for ups and downs, right? There would be no trauma. But it don't work that way, right? But you gotta trust. You gotta have faith. You gotta know that He has your best interest in mind. But like I said, even from my own life. And y'all, I had to surrender again last week. No, the week before. No, it's been 2 or 3 weeks. And since I've been surrendering, I've actually gotten some sleep. Went to bed early. And I'm going to say this again. If you feel differently, tell God your plan. When He stopped laughing, when your spiritual team stopped laughing, whatever that consists of, because it doesn't matter what your path is, let me know. Because I promise you, what you had in mind and what they had in mind, what God had in mind, it's 2 different things. 2 different things. And I say that not to be funny, but just being honest. Because some of us would, the way that some of us would have went, I know for myself, I can speak for myself. I know I would have done some things differently. Nobody would know my name. Half the people I know now I probably wouldn't know, because I'd have missed my opportunities due to trying to pick and choose what I wanted to heal from, what I wanted to go through. You know what I'm saying? If I knew. You know what I'm saying? Half the people I wouldn't have met. And sometimes we don't get that. Sometimes you got to go through circumstances. I'm working on my custom. You have to go through circumstances with people to sometimes get to the real people. You know what I'm saying? To get to the actual person you're supposed to meet. Just like the children of Israel, they never would have seen any kind of miracle of God, staying with them, giving them shade in the day, keeping them warm at night, if they hadn't gone through slavery, if they hadn't gone through the desert. You know what I'm saying? They would not have known that God could really be there. A lot of us would not have known if certain things didn't occur in our life where we had to say, God, if you don't do it, nobody can. God, if you don't say nothing, nobody can. God, if you don't heal, nobody can. You know what I'm saying? It's charged enough where I can kind of sit it down. Give me just a second. I just want to sit it down. Ooh, I got to dump that out of there. But we would not have done that. Nobody can tell me that we would have followed everything. No way. No one can tell me that would have happened. None of us would have done it. We wouldn't have followed through. Just being real. We wouldn't have followed through. And we had it all mapped out. And we had it all under control. And sometimes we don't know what we're being protected from. We don't know what's being prepared. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to be okay with the will and the way. And things that God have told us that's going to come to pass, we have to let it come. But like I said, you have to trust. And you have to let God grow your faith. You ever thought about that you may be the plant? You may be the thing that he's watering and increasing. Because if you're faithful over a few things, he'll make you rule over many. If you work on you and you do this, you know, your inner child work, your shadow work, and you heal from that, you don't know the impact. Especially with people who say they want to make their mark. Sometimes the best mark you can make is in you, and it make the difference with people that see you in every day. I don't plan being up here long, but I did want to say this. In my life, I had to learn how to heal my relationship with God. Because in all areas of your life, no matter how much knowledge you know, how much you understand, there is a part that you're going to find out that needs to be healed. For every level, there's a different level of trust. There's a different level of faith. For every level. And in that level, you have to grow. You have to heal. You have to allow. You have to accept. And a lot of us, you think you're fighting the will of God. You think you're going to make God do what you want God to do. You want God to accept your plans. You're going to find out. You're going to end up accepting his plan, which you will find out his plan was your plan all along, because the way that he got you there, it's not that he ignored you, but he laughed at the way you thought you were going to get there. Can you imagine? And there's nothing wrong with wanting, for an example, $1 million. There's nothing wrong with wanting $1 million. Who don't? Who don't want $1 million? But $1 million calls for money management. $1 million calls for you to go through things where you have to understand what's a benefit, what's an asset, and what's a liability. What is where you're wasting your money, and then where you're able to keep your money. See, you start to find out what to invest your money in, where to plant your seeds. You know what I'm saying? But see, all of this comes in levels where you have to trust God. All these things come in levels. So this is the reason why I say, you gotta trust God. You gotta know that you know. You know what I'm saying? Like me, when I get done with this live, I still have things that I need to do. I have assignments. Why? Because at the end of the day, I'm a student. And I still got to trust, and I got to do my work, follow my set of instructions. Why? Because in this life, that's the way it's set up. This is the level of trust. Faith without works is dead. Some of the simplest stuff that you get asked to do. Little do you know that that's where your faith comes in. Because it seems like something simple, something small, but it has a greater impact. You never know. And sometimes we have to take that time of learning, because when it's time to have to teach or it's time to have to apply it, it's a must. Grand Abundance, welcome in, welcome in. Grand Abundance, welcome in, or welcome back. But these are things that we have to do. And we have to be okay with doing that. And yet, you have to trust God in every situation. You have to trust God in every situation. You have to know that you know in every situation. So believe me, you have to know. You have to know that everything has its level of trust. Because again, God don't tell you everything. Give you a prime example in the book of Judges. In the book of Judges, the children of Israel went up for war. Now, in this particular one, children of Israel, they went to God. God told them, hey, you'll win. Go up. They didn't win that time. They went back, they laid before the Lord. They said, listen, we ain't win. What happened? You know what I'm saying? We fighting. We doing the work. He told them, go up. They came back with their head down. They laid out before the Lord. And they said, sir, we serve. And they went again. He said, listen, you will surely get the victory. And they went up and they won. But they did. They got the victory. I said all of that to say this. Just because you knocked on one door, just because you knocked on two, you don't know. Knocking on another one and not getting discouraged, not getting weary in your faith, but trusting and depending and holding to their words. Not getting distracted, not getting upset. Sometimes give you the better results when you trust. When you say, not my will, but your will be done. Because sometimes that is your biggest payoff. And if anything that I've said tonight, know that God don't tell you everything. I said, if he told you everything, would you really do it? Would you really believe? Would you really trust? Would you really have faith? Guarantee you everything is working for you good. It is up to you to trust, to know that. Some of us, we got to stop running off and making our own decisions. Grand Abundance, Grand Abundance. Welcome in, welcome in. We got to stop making our own decisions, making our own choices, and trust. And that thing that we think is foolish, that is probably the thing he wants you to do, because it will confound the wise. We got to trust. Just because it may look stupid to everybody else, it may seem small to everybody else, but that small thing will lead to greater things. That thing that looked the least important, that is the thing that's most likely the most important. Because that thing has giant endings. Despise not small beginnings, they have great endings. But like I said, this live was not going to be long at all. So, I love y'all. But again, God don't tell you everything. Because think about it. I'm going to leave it at this. God didn't tell Moses. He told Moses about Pharaoh. He didn't tell Moses about the children of Israel. Just like he told you that you were going to make an impact on the world, that you're going to have this, you're going to have that. But if you knew what you had to go through to get it, you probably wouldn't have did it. Because it's a level of trust, it's a level of faith. And I guarantee you, a lot of us would not know what we know now if it had not been for the things that we went through. So with that being said, trust, believe. If King Solomon wasn't put into place to rule a kingdom at a very young age, I don't think he would have asked God for that wisdom. He asked because he was put in a place to where he had to ask for that, where he had no choice, because he was entrusted with lives. He was entrusted with the well-being, not just for his own, but for the people and things that he had to go through. So I said all of that to say this. What makes a great leader is the strength and the power that they allow to be demonstrated in them by God, by the level of their trust and the level of their faith. Your testimonies is like fruit on a tree. That's for everybody. But the root of that tree, the foundation of that tree, what caused that tree to be fed, what caused that tree to still stand and able to bear that fruit, was the source of that tree's power and nourishment. A lot of us go back and put God first. Mr. Ancient of Days, go back and put him first. And like I said, with his angels, like I said, for those religious people out there that like to hit my inbox and tell me that, that ain't the angel's name. Well, first of all, do you know all the angels' names? Let me see you do it. Do you even know the different rankings? Second of all, how can you say what God didn't ordain, seeing how that God's understanding and thoughts are higher than ours? And until you can explain the breath in your body, please don't do it. But let me encourage you. Have faith. Trust. Your life is for a reason. Your life has destiny. It has purpose. It has enlightenment. It has power. And it has wisdom. You know why? Because no matter what your path is, God is there. Your spiritual team is there. Please don't forget that. And just remember, you put in situations where you're learning to trust him all the more. You're learning to believe in him all the more. You're learning to have faith all the more. And again, I love y'all. Like I said, this wasn't a long one. This was just for me to get the message out. I love y'all. Peace and abundance and prosperity. Watch the replay, but I will tell you this. The plans for your life, everything, trust me, it's in the design of God. And let me tell you something. Don't be so hard on your mistakes. Learn from them. Don't build a house there. Learn from them. I love y'all. Peace.